Hey, it's Bill Gross, the LA probate expert. And is the housing market crashing? Absolutely not. Not only is it not crashing, but the market seems to have pretty healthy growth still going on. If you follow me at all, I regularly report on the real estate industry news being worse than the political news in America. Whether you're on the left or the right, everybody seems to believe or have discovered that the news industry is really about entertainment and getting your attention, not about giving you actual information. And that is totally true in the real estate market. Let me give you just a recent example of that. Here's CNN Business News with the headline screaming, "Signs of a housing bubble are brewing." Now that sounds really dramatic. It would sound as though there's some evidence that things are falling apart. But when you dig a little deeper and go into the bottom of the article, what's it conclude? I'll read it to you. There is no reason to expect any resulting correction that would impact homeowners or the economy as significantly as the last housing crash. Americans are generally in better financial shape. Homeowners have stronger equity positions, and excessive borrowing is not as rampant as it was in the mid 2000s. So for all those reasons, the reason the housing market of 2008 crashed was it was unsustainable. People bought houses they could not afford. That's not the case today. People who buy houses here can afford them, and with inflation, their wages maybe have gone up as well, but typically they locked in a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, whereas in the last time, the crisis, they had an adjustment rate that would go up, and that's what caused them to lose the property. That's not the case at all here today, but it's more than that. In the past, it's not housing spikes that has really caused the change in interest rate. It's the overall economy, wars, depressions, and things like that. Take a look at the historical numbers, and we'll see that when there were crashes, it had nothing to do with interest rate spikes. In fact, in the 2008 period, we can see that, rates went up a bit, but that wasn't the cause. It was after the fact when the market crashed. Again, it's because it wasn't the interest rates. It was the interest rates were kind of hiding for the last few months before the crash, that the loans people were getting weren't fixed rate loans, they were adjustable loans, and that ultimately people couldn't afford them. And because they couldn't afford them, as soon as those adjustments happened, they lost the property. So there's no analogy at all to the current rate of increase to the housing market falling apart. Now, one of the challenges, in order therefore to be a housing crash or a crisis, is you'd have to have more sellers trying to sell houses than buyers, and then they would cut the price to create more competition. Well, is it happening? The measure of that would be inventory. How many homes are for sale now versus previously? And not only is the inventory tight now, the inventory is even tighter than the record tightness last year, than the record tightness 2 years ago, than the record tightness 3 years ago. So all this happened, and not only that, with all the interest rate increases in December, January, February, the inventory has not gone up, it's gone down. So the exact opposite of what would have to happen in order for it to be a real estate crisis or real estate crash, the exact opposite is happening in that the inventory is tightening. At the same time, you can see, well, what's the alternative? If buyers don't want to buy a house, what are they saying they're going to do? They're going to say that they're going to rent. The problem there is if they rent, they're in the same position now because rental prices are also going up. Take a look at in the last year, rents gone up almost 10% per year. So somebody can say, well, I want to buy a house because housing prices went up, 10%. The rental income is doing the exact same thing. Not only that, look at the inventory of rental housing. It's even worse than it is for homes for sale. And getting worse, meaning, now this is a survey of the market tightening. This is a record level of low inventory at 97%. This has never been recorded before as far as rental property tightness. So that a tenant who says, well, I'm not going to buy a property, I'll just sit here and wait out the market and wait for the market to crash. I don't think that crash is coming. And more importantly, at the same time, in many markets, their rents might go up. Maybe not where there's rent control, but in those other markets, they will. And in rent control, well, the rent doesn't go up because of lack of investment. In essence, the quality of the asset goes down over time without keeping up. So what's somebody to do? Well, what I've said all along is the same thing. You have to analyze what's best for you. If it's a good time to sell a property because you have an asset that's not performing and you can restructure your money in a place so you get better cash flow or better long-term appreciation, great time to sell the property. Literally, I have a house in the market. It's been a week and a half. We have 3 offers, 2 over asking price. And we had 5 groups of people at the open house just today. So if you want to sell a house, it's a great time and you can dictate the conditions that be best for you. If you want to buy a property, tough that housing prices have gone up so much in the last year. Tough also the interest rates have gone up so much. But here's the good news. If you find something that you can afford now that works for you and you buy it now, you can lock in the rate for 30 years and only change it if rates go down. And that's what many people did who bought houses 10 and 15 years ago. Experience was they bought houses when rates were at 8%, 7%, and refinanced at 6 and 5 and 4 and 3, and many locked in rates below 3%. So if you're buying a house today, your loan is only locked in for 30 years on the upside, but you still have a chance to refinance it down if ever we get back to a normal economy. I'm not predicting one way or the other, but that would be the opportunity. So what to do again? If it's a good time for you to buy, buy. Good time for you to sell, sell. If I can help you answer those questions, give me a call. My information is down below, my email, phone number, and social media. And as always, I'm Bill Gross, and make this day and this week your best week ever. Thanks so much.